Welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset. In today's episode, I'll be showing you a tutorial for how to use the Treasury System. So I'm showing you the front end that was created by Yogi, and it's showing the basis of arbitrage, minting, and burning. So this is going to be a three-part series because there are some updates coming for the Treasury System website. So I'm going to go over the first tutorial on how to, and then we're going to go deeper over the next two episodes. So also at the end, yeah, I've officially become a meme. So I want to show you guys a little clip from Twitter as well, or X rather. So in any case, if you want to follow along, the link to Treasury System is in the description. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Okay, so the Treasury bill parent fed to child. So the basis of the Treasury system is arbitrage. So what is arbitrage? So by code, so this is by the code, by the math, Treasury bill, the fair value by the code is 1-to-1. Why? Because one Treasury bill burns to mint one Fed. And so therefore, if Treasury bill is higher than the price of Fed, then you would swap for Fed, which is what's happening at the moment. So as of the 26th of May 2025, Treasury bill is currently priced higher than Fed, so you would swap it. You wouldn't be burning a Treasury for Fed, you would just be simply swapping it for Fed. However, if Treasury bill is lower than the price of Fed, then you would mint for Fed. You would mint Fed, then you could swap back into Treasury bill, and this would be the arbitrage. So if we go to that chart, I can show you very simply on that chart. So this is Fed and Treasury bill. Oh, it's definitely had a cheeky little pump. So this is some of Maria's buys here that you can see BBB. So 1-to-1 at the moment, it's currently below the line of 1-to-1, which means the value is in Treasury bill's favor. So it's priced higher. So therefore, you would swap Treasury bill for Fed, and you would get, do we have a calculator down here? So if we go Treasury bill, so at the moment, obviously one Treasury bill is going to get you 2.77 Fed. Now, if it's above, and let's say it's above, just for hypothetical sake, let's say it's here where the 10 is, then you're going to get 10-to-1. You're going to get 10 Treasury bill for one Fed. So then you would burn one Treasury bill to get the Fed. And then you would sell the Fed to get 10 Treasury bill. So yes, one Fed would here buy 10 Treasury bill because it would be in the price favor of Fed. So I hope that makes sense. So again, if it's above, you burn the Treasury bill to mint the Fed. If it's below, you swap the Treasury bill for the Fed. And basically, this principle applies across the board. Now, let's go into the Treasury system. So in case you haven't used it, so very simply, this is what the front end looks like at the moment. So there are some updates. I've had a look at the updates. So Yogi's done an incredible job on this. It's a really beautiful, clean, easy website. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to connect your wallet. So I'm going to connect to Rabbi. This is connected to my donation wallet, and we're all connected. Now, as we move around here, you go to the FAQ. This is what makes this whole website so easy. So you've got this video tutorial, but every single question that you need answered is going to be here. So what is the Treasury system? So even this FAQ gets updated with the new updates, but we're going to do this first. So what is a Treasury system? So the Treasury system is a decentralized ecosystem that allows users to create, mint, and manage various types of tokens on the blockchain. It involves multiple minter types, so V1, V3, V4, V1, V2, V3, V4, for minting, different token creation needs, and executing functions. So what are the different minter types and how do they work? So V1 are Treasury bill minters. So there used to be a front end for this made by Not Helios. I think it's still there, but I don't think it really works properly, but you can do it all here now. So all the tokens launched off Treasury bill minter are mintable 1-to-1 with Treasury bill. Any token launched off the V1 Treasury bill minter will always have its parent as Treasury bill. So Fed, Reserve TER, is a V1 minter. Then we have the V2 federal minters. So the V2 federal minter works a bit differently. V2 tokens can only have Fed through bar set as their parent token. The V2 tokens displayed in the V2 token list are displayed in order from parent to child, so you can easily mint them. Then we have V3 index minters. Tokens launched from the V3 index minter can actually have any token of their choosing as a parent. There is a multiplier to mint for V3 tokens that increase every time 1,111,111,110 are minted. So the multiplier would go up by 1. So for example, one of the things that the community has been doing is with DARPA, and the parent is Teddy Bear. So this is something Sunny's Pub was doing. And so each time 1.1 billion was minted, the multiplier would go up by +1. And then 1.1 billion gets minted, it goes up by +1. So when it's with Teddy Bear, where the supply and the price of each token is so low, this happens very quickly. The multiplier, when it's something different, for example, I believe Theta is a V3 minter. Theta per token is worth a lot more. So it's not likely that this will ever go up anytime soon, if ever. So the multiplier is at the moment 1-to-1, and it's likely going to stay 1-to-1. V4 personal minter. You can also choose any token to the parent for V4 personal minter. There is also a multiplier factor for V4 tokens that increases every time the starting supply of the child token is minted. So it works the same. It goes up by +1, but instead of every 1.1 billion, it goes up every time you mint the starting supply. So if you have a starting supply of 1, every time you mint 1, you're going to add +1 to the multiplier. Then when you mint another one, it's going to add another +1, so on and so forth. So if you go and mint 100, then you would be basically adding a +100 multiplier on the mint. How do I create a new token? So you click the Create Token button, select your minter type, fill in the token details, so the name, symbol, initial mint amount, and click Create Token. So make sure you have a sufficient MV token. So MV tokens, we've got the contract address here, is what you need to start any of these. So for the initial mint, initial supply is minted using MV token. So 1 MV token equals 1 initial supply. So therefore, if you want to have an initial supply of 1,000, then you would have to have 1,000 MV tokens. And so you should really think about the starting supply in the context of what the parent is and how much the value of those parent tokens are and how much you're going to mint. So there's definitely some math there that you can work out. How do I import existing tokens? So you click Import Token button, select the minter type, and enter the token address you want to import. Where can I see my imported token? So you can see it in the top left. So then we also have, so then you scroll up, you press close. So this is what we have so far. Then you've got the map. So this is something that I've been in the process of making and very, very much loving it. And so, for example, the V1 and V1 to V4 Treasury bill. So Treasury bill parent. So this is the first one. So these are all the V1 Treasury bill minters. This is a V3 Treasury bill minter, and these are the V4 Treasury bill minters. So there's 11 of them, and there's 30 of these. And you can see here I've circled this as number 2. So this denotes the page number, I suppose you could say. So then this leads to the V2. And so here, this is one of the 2 structural types. So this is a tree structure. And then the secondary structure type that we have is the spine structure. It's where it's obviously looking like a spine, and then the trees have the branches. So this is a mixture of the spine, and it has branches coming off it. So it's also kind of a tree as well. So you can see here it's got Fed, FDIC, DFM, Parade, TLRZ, so on and so forth, down to bar. And then it goes into the bar children. So there's 21 bar children. And then obviously we've got the V3 coming off these, V3, V4, so on and so forth. So you'll see what version it is here. So it starts off with the V1 Fed, and it works its way down, all the way down to the bar. And then this was the next one that I made. So Atropa, children, and spine. So this also was another really clear way of seeing the tree structure and the spine structure. So you can see it branches off, and then it's got a spine structure off one of those. And then the fourth one that I've made is the wrapped Bitcoin, so pulse wrapped Bitcoin. There's ones for Teddy Bear. There's also ones for PDI. There's ones for all sorts of tokens on the Atropa ecosystem, and you can launch any yourself as well. But what I would recommend first is to go through the ones that Maria has done and really experiment with the system first to get comfortable with what the principle is all about. Because all of these here now are all basically the default system tokens are going to be the Maria launch token. So the ones that the 2501 wallet launched from the launchers, the minters. So now if we go through system tokens, so system tokens, you've got V1 Treasury Bill minter. So it's got all the Treasury Bill tokens. And you can see here, there are arbitrage opportunities. So this one here is 1.37x to mint. This one here is 1.86x to mint. But there's probably not a lot of liquidity in these. So what you can do is you can copy and paste the addresses. You can go to liquiditypoolsversal.app and you can check out what the liquidity is for some of these tokens. I would suspect these to probably have less than $5 from memory when I was looking at some of these. The ones with a lot thicker liquidity are going to be the ones more towards the top. So Reserve, for example, so Fed, Reserve Tear has perhaps hundreds of thousands of dollars in liquidity. This one has, okay, yeah, less than $5. So yes, it's an arbitrage opportunity, but the price of the gas versus what you're going to get out of it might not be enough because it's only got $1.76 in that particular liquidity pool with Treasury Bill. So those are the things that you're going to need to pay attention to. But it also means that you can be a custodian of these. So they're there waiting for people to create liquidity pools and to do something with. But if you want to just familiarize yourself with things with lots of liquidity, then you can go to some of these up above. So as you can see, if it's grayed out, it's going to be below that mint line. So it's still a multiplication if it gets to 1-to-1, but it's not a mint. It's not a burn to mint arbitrage. It's an arbitrage on the opposite end. It's a ratio rather than an arbitrage, sorry. Okay, so now that's the V1. Then you go to V2. So you've got the FDIC to bar. So obviously from the Fed, it goes FDIC to bar. So if we have a look at this map here, so it's nice and clear. So this is, there was V1. Now we're going FDIC to bar. Close that there. So it goes through all of these. So you can see here, this just continues to be an insane ratio. So it's, wow, 8.7 million X to parity. So Fed to FDIC, because this is quote unquote infinitely mintable. And I will go into detail about the infinitely mintable aspect of the Treasury spine. And I'll be doing this on the next episode. So today we're just going to go over the basics. On the next episode, we're going to go through the infinite mintability and what that means, the claiming, the burning, the minting. So you can see as we go down the line, basically the opportunities become less and less. So it's like the Fed has a special position with 1-to-1 with Treasury, and then after that, everything after that, FDIC and onwards, it has a different kind of relationship. It's still 1-to-1. It's still 1-to-1, burn 1 to mint 1. So you would burn 1 FDIC to mint 1 DFM. You'd burn 1 DFM to mint 1 parade. But because of the FDIC and the price disparity between the Fed, at the moment, it's making all of these like wildly cheap, basically. So there are still arbitrage opportunities where it would be above the line. Well, it depends on the chart. Sometimes it's above the line, sometimes it's below, but there's still arbitrage opportunities when it's green. So then if you want to mint, basically you just enter the amount. So it will tell you here, if I'm minting 1,000, it won't actually give me a number here because we just know it's 1-to-1. And it would be the same with the V1s. Okay, so obviously, let's just mint one of these. So now I'll go to Opium. So I'll mint, let's just mint, what have I got actually? Let me just see what I actually have in my wallet for this particular one. So Opium. So now this is how you're going to easily be able to see arbitrage opportunities. So Opium, how much have I got? Oh, nice. I've got a milli. And then obviously it will be, so to mint Opium, it will be burning United States campaign. So then I'll paste this here. So I've got 170 million of that and 1 million of those. So now, obviously, the arbitrage is by selling this one into this one. We're burning this one to mint this one. So once I swap it around, you can see, yeah, there's an arbitrage there. I'm getting 14,000. And again, if we see this on the chart, So let's bring up the Opium and campaign. Here we go. So I'll bring that out to here to make it nice and clear and close this up. And you can see the one-to-one. See, yeah, sometimes it resets all of my settings, which is a real pain. And I'm just going to put this here so we know. One. So it's not a huge arbitrage, but yeah, that's what we can see here. So Opium and campaign. So it's above the line. So we mint. So we burn to mint. So then, I mean, one of the things that I do to basically work this out is how far can I get where I'm still getting some arbitrage. So yeah, I'm still getting 149,000 tokens, and it's probably not a lot. So now I'll go up to, and I don't have this many tokens, but I've got up to 170 million. So I'll just put 170 million here. And let's see if it still gives me the arbitrage opportunity. And it does. So it's going to give me an extra 25 million tokens. So then what will I do? I can just do this. I can copy and paste that number. So Opium, I'll mint those 170 million, confirm. And then it's going to go through the wallet. And so I'm using Rabby for the time being. And that's going to go through. So then you have to also take into account the gas. So the gas fees here is 436 pulse. So these are the things you have to take into account. So it might not even be worth, like it might be more gas. It might cost me more in gas than what it is to mint, but I'm just doing this to show you. But once I sell it, I'll show you what actually happens. So we should see here now, there's going to be 170 million appeared here. And then this will go down to like 426,000 because now I've burnt. There we go. So now I've got 171 million because I had minted a 170 million plus I had a million there. So I'm just going to max sell. Oh, actually, I'll leave the one that was in there. So then now, obviously, I've accumulated an extra 25 million tokens. Great. I've just made some arbitrage. And so obviously now it's another 286 pulse chain for gas. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually measure and see what the value of those tokens are in the value of pulse chain to see if it was even worth doing it. And that's probably something that you would do even beforehand to see if it's worth it. But again, just showing you the basis of arbitrage and how all of this works and how you can run this system. I am seeing all the questions and comments in there, guys. I will go through some of that, but I want to just go with the flow here because people have commented that if I break up the flow, it makes it hard to follow. So I'll go through the comments at the very end, but I do appreciate you guys engaging and I will get to your questions. All right. So now 100. So what did we ended up getting an extra 25 million. So now if I swap campaign here, let me just see how much pulse chain we ended up doing this. So let's see how much pulse chain that gives me. Not even one pulse chain. So really, this was an unprofitable arbitrage. So really, I need to be basically, to make it profitable, I need to have like probably billions or trillions. So let's have a look. Yeah, wow, need to really have a lot. So what are we getting into now? So millions, billions, trillions. Wow. Okay, this has really been, these numbers have really been wildly skewed. So yeah, until I'm getting into like the trillions, then I'm not really making a profit. So then again, this is how I would make the profit. I'd need to be minting trillions. And so can I even do that? Would there even be an arbitrage opportunity there? So let's actually just have a look just out of curiosity. So I'll change this back to Opium. Put Opium at the top. So let's say if I do 10 trillion. Okay, so there still is arbitrage there, but I need to be getting trillions in profit. So at the moment, really, yeah, the arbitrage opportunities on these is really almost gone because now you've got the price impact. So by the time you actually do the swaps to be getting the trillions in profit, yeah, see now as soon as I put 20 trillion now, because of the price impact, the sell is going to push the chart below the line. So then I'm going to be losing tokens and I'm not actually going to be gaining tokens. So yeah. So yeah, those are the things that we need to keep into consideration. So in any case, let's move forward. So that's the V2, and then they all work the same. So then you've got the bar tokens, but obviously with the bar tokens, the loop that gets created by burning and minting and then going back up the spine is where the profit is at the moment. So we'll be going into that in the next video. So stay tuned on that one. Now V3, it's just the same. It's the same principle. So let's wait for this to load. Okay, so there's all of them here. So you've got the WWE, which is the one that is... there was WWE somewhere in here. You can see here there's some that don't have they don't have any LP. So again, you can basically take control of that. This one here, 43x until parity, but look at the price of the tokens. So yeah, you're definitely going to have to look into these in the context of the price of this compared to wrapped Bitcoin, because the parent is wrapped Bitcoin. And how do we know that? So this is what's really good about this website. So as soon as you click into mint, you can see here, it's going to show me the parent token at the bottom. So the parent token 2C599. Well, how do I know what that is? I can basically just copy and paste that contract address into Dex Screener or anywhere really, and it will show me. So you can see wrapped Bitcoin. So it's got the same contract address as the from Ethereum. So, well, it's got the same contract address as the Ethereum wrapped Bitcoin. So as you can see, the Pulse wrapped Bitcoin. But then if it gets bridged over now, so this is the forked version. If it gets bridged over, then it will say wrapped Bitcoin from Ethereum. Whereas on the Pulse chain, it just says wrapped Bitcoin, shares the same contract address. Absolute genius move by Richard Hart. I think this is going to be something that, yeah, it's going to be a beautiful thing in the future. The Treasury system and how this operates with the same contract addresses and the integration with Ethereum, I think it's going to be a beautiful thing in the future when people start to search for these contract addresses and what this actually means for arbitrage and what this means for adoption to Pulse chain. So, all right. So then obviously anyone that you click on, it's going to tell you the same thing. It's going to tell you what the parents are. So let's have a look at this one. Mint, what's the parent here? DDB1. So again, we can go here. Let's go DDB1. DDB1. All right, so it's like a TIE token. So which is one of the Atropa ecosystem tokens. And again, you can have a look at these. And obviously when they're the Atropa ecosystem tokens, I'll have a little bit more liquidity than some of the ones that were just created recently. So this is these treasury tokens launched from the treasury minters don't necessarily have a lot of liquidity. They're there for people to adopt. Whereas the Atropa ecosystem, that's like a separate entity. It's like the foundation of all of this. And that has liquidity that's all been set up mostly by Maria, by Hamad Daichi. So then this has 347,000 in liquidity, 347,334. All right, so then it's a V3 minter. Let's just see out of curiosity. It will tell me, okay, so at the minute, it's still in the range of being 1-to-1. Eventually, remember when we mint out, how much was it? 1.1 billion? That multiplier will end up going up. It will end up going up. So then for now, it's still going to be 1.1 billion. And then it's 2.1 billion. But realistically, it's going to actually burn more parent tokens than this, because now we've crossed the threshold for the multiplier, because it's going to be more than 1.1 billion. So that you have to take into account as well. The math here doesn't actually show that. But anyway, it does show you at least approximately how many parent tokens is going to burn. So in this case, do I even have this token in my wallet? Let's have a look. I do. Nice. So let's also see if I've got this one. And yeah, the arbitrage opportunity is only, I mean, it's not much. it's only just over, so it's probably not going to be much of an opportunity, but let's just have a look. Let's see how far we can stretch it. So I would probably do the math before actually going through with it. So for example, 1000. So you can see it's, it was 1.0x and we're basically getting an extra 7. So let's see how high you go, where it's going to, see, as soon as you go to 10,000, then it doesn't become profitable anymore because there's probably not a lot of liquidity in that pool. So where is the liquidity in this pool? On here. So it's down here. So there's $52 in liquidity. So there you go. So how low can we get the number? So we had 1,000, then I would just kind of like slowly creep this up. Then let's say 2,000. Am I still making a profit? Okay, cool. I'm making 11. Go up to 3,000. Let's see if I'm still making profit. Oh, okay. Same number. So then basically that's like the threshold there. So then 11. I mean, you can already look at that and go, well, given that that's 13 cents for 3,011, you know that you're probably not going to get your money's worth on the arbitrage on this, because then if I put that at the top, put 11, and then let's have a look. It's going to give me 12. So by the time you pay for gas, it's not profitable. So again, keep these sorts of things in mind. Okay, and then the V4, exactly the same thing, except obviously now the math is going to be calculated based on the initial supply, but it's going to be exactly the same. So once you do the mint, so for example, if we used that TIE token, if I had minted 1.1 billion of that other token and burnt 1.1 billion of these, the next time that I would go to mint, then it would update the math. It would show the math on that. It doesn't actually show the math of the multiplier within that calculation, if that makes sense. It used to, that's what Rabbi was so great. You'd see the math here. You would tell you exactly how many is being burnt and how many you're going to mint, and it would calculate the multiplier within that, whereas the calculation here doesn't calculate the multiplier until after you've done it, and then the next time you go into it, it will calculate the multiplier. So I hope that makes sense. So again, there's a lot of untouched tokens in here, a lot of untouched. All of these have nothing in them, no liquidity, but then you come down to here, Ichidai, Daiichi, they have some liquidity, they've got some multiplications. So this is something where in the future, as things move around within the Atropa ecosystem, as the system builds up, hopefully there'll be more liquidity in these. So, okay, you can see there's lots here, really lots, and so many different tokens. That's why it's going to take me a while to do the maps, because I'm trying to do it in the order. So the way that the maps are currently shown is basically the order that they would appear along this bar. So then the next one along here, so basically the reason why I have the federal spine and then it goes into Atropa is because the very next V3 printer is Treasury share, which is Treasury bill, I believe. Yeah, Treasury bill 5A1, and this proof of own reserve contract is with I think it's Fed or FDIC. 3E9, I think that's FDIC, or we can actually just have a look straight up at the map. Where is proof of own reserve? Here we go. Oh yeah, proof of own reserve. So it's FDIC. I thought so. So then the next one along is share, and share is the parent is the Atropa. So A8, A6. Okay. So then that's all that. Clear, easy. Now then import token. So you would just select the minter type that you would want to do. So let's say I want to make a V3 minter, and then I would child token address. Because I'm importing. So then, import. So in this case, I'm just using this as an example. So this one was launched by, we got a little arbitrage opportunity here as well. This one was launched by Ironclad. So I'll copy and paste this. And I don't know if you have to get what the minter is, because I don't actually know if this is a V3. I mean, actually, well, this is Treasury bill, so I'd say it's a V1. I don't know what would happen if you go to. I'll try actually. What would happen if I import this as a V3? Will it give me an error? Invalid token address or error. Nice. Okay, nice. So it knows. The token has already been imported. Okay, all right. So now the token has been imported. So then here we go. So every time the website gets updated, by the way, I believe the imported child tokens will disappear, but as soon as you go to upload one, it will then show it again. So just before I did this, it didn't show this, but now it does show these ones here. So you can see here it's V1 and then, yeah, mint. So I can do that. And I did show a video on this and how you can set up your liquidity to actually take advantage of the arbitrage to basically manipulate the liquidity so you can create arbitrage. And so in this instance, the way that he did this was the biggest pools with Fed. And so that's why now this is just, the candles are just replicating the Fed because it's moving with the Fed due to liquidity bonding. I think 50% of its liquidity is with the Fed. So I won't go into too much detail on that. Definitely check out that video. The video was titled something along the lines of how I did a 20x in 20 minutes. And the 20x was on the Treasury bill tokens. I started off with, I believe, 10,000 and I ended up with 200,000 Treasury bill tokens within 20 minutes by doing this process because I was the one that minted this down. So this big fat candle was me. And then people were upset that I took all the opportunity. I mean, there's so much opportunity, guys. Abundance mind. Let's go. Yeah, so there we go. And then if you want to create one, same thing. Then you would just go through that process. You would name it, give it the symbol, give it the mint supply, the initial mint amount. You got to make sure that you have MV tokens and then the parent token address. So then you would copy and paste. For example, if I want Atropa to be the parent, then I would copy and paste Atropa here. So yeah, that's it. Very, very simple. So that's the whole Treasury system. Simple. So again, tomorrow then I'm going to go over, after the updates, after Yogi updates it, I'm going to go over these again, but with the infinite mint button. So there's going to be a few extra sections within it, more of the advanced part of the website to show how to do this with the infinite mint. And it's really easy now. So Stu, thank you, Stu. He created a contract that you could do this on and you had to do it manually. But now Yogi basically modified the script and then uploaded it to his website. So then it's all done within the one click and the one transaction. Like I said, I will go through that in the next episode. Okay, so before I finish off with the with the Pulse TV on X video, I do want to just see some of these questions. So what's going on, everybody? Some of these questions, what do I think of dominance? Not much. Don't know anything about it. Sorry, man. Pump my bags. What about other child tokens such as DFM, FDIC? So yeah, I did cover that. So yeah, these are the other child tokens. So that's all the V2s. Listening while I work to earn more dirty fiat. Good on you, Clintrons. Does this mean Rabbi is listing Pulse Chain again? I don't know. Squiddy's revenge. I just haven't changed because I've tried to change, but there's just too many things that annoy the hell out of me from using the others. Even though Rabbi is kind of crap, it's still the fastest. So yeah, and it has all my wallets in there. And whenever I try to upload them onto internetmoneywallet.io, because I've got maybe multiple wallets on the same. Actually, I don't want to give information about my wallets. No information whatsoever. But yeah, I just at the moment, I'm just continuing to use Rabbi. So Monet Money 1-to-1 with PDI. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. And I don't think I've seen a Monet Money Minter, FYI. And maybe somebody's got a Monet Money Minter. Maybe they've got a personal Monet Money Minter. So sold house, car, wife, mother-in-law. Because Steve said all in on Fed. I didn't say all in on Fed. Yeah, so I was hoping to cover that in this particular section. So, I mean, yeah, the Fed definitely pumped from the tweet. So basically the premise is, with the way that the Treasury spine works, the more Fed that you have, it seems like it's going to be better. I can't tell you conclusively why. I still have to work out for myself how this actually works. Like it just seems like a very unique ecosystem because it's not necessarily profit driven from the perspective of I guess, traditional ways of perceiving profit, where it's like you put money in, you wait for token to go up, and then you sell. It's not that kind of profit driving. And so even the way that the Treasury spine works and the profit within this, it appears to be something where it's more about giving than taking. That's what I really like about it. That's what I really like about it. But in order to, quote unquote, maximize the way that you can exploit the Treasury spine and future Treasury spines, you need to have more Fed. So that's the reason why I said Fed was a good play. And also it's getting very, very close to 1-to-1. So, and I believe Maria burnt another 20 billion Treasury bill today. So I think there's been hundreds of billions of Treasury bills. So he remember he minted a trillion rather, and now he must have like less than or about 58 billion Treasury bill tokens. So this was something where the believers saw what was happening. We didn't freak out. We had curiosity and we just explored. What does this mean? And we didn't panic. We stayed calm. Are you going to cover the alpha refed? So that was the alpha HexUG. Stephen, you say it isn't worth the gas fee, but you can't buy these tokens without incredible slippage. So it might be worth it in the long-term minting. This is true. This is a good point, Richard. Exactly. There will be a point where perhaps once the whole ecosystem rises, if the liquidity bonding and the bonding patterns and percentages within the child tokens drag it all up together, then yeah, it might end up being profitable in the long run. So that will be something for everybody to work out on their own. So thanks, Perry Bernard. Hit the like and sub. And if you're new to Pulse Chain, welcome. Welcome to Pulse Chain. We do love you. So Pulse Chainer, I did mention that. So Nosdoc to the moon. So yeah, there's lots of, I believe Nosdoc was one of the first ones to really fly in this ecosystem where the parity was I think Nosdoc's a V4, where the multiplications to the parity was really quite exceptional, that people ended up just buying the crap out of Nosdoc and you were able to get basically a good profit on that. And like we saw, WWE is, I think it was 65x. And then there was Theta, which is like 40, 45 or something X. Where's Nosdoc? Unless Nosdoc is a V3. What's this? Grow up and blow away. Okay. I will. Maybe Nosdoc is a V3. Yeah. So many. So many. So many. Yeah, Nosdoc must be V3. I think it's at the bottom of V3 maybe. All right, cool. I don't want to make this too long. It's already getting too long. So I'll finish up now with just this little video clip, which was, I mean, for me, it's an honor. I'm now on Pulse TV, so I was very happy about that. So let's just have a look at this little video. So I'll just, there we go. There's your boy right there. And they even excluded my lazy eye. Thank you, fam. All right, let's have a look.
I was reading this poem the other day. It reminded me of you. It's called One Versus Everyone. See my words, a focused eye, those I shake, those who cry, pools of gold, for the battle cried. A warrior's born, when acceptance to die. Path is strong, holders purified. For hands are hard, as Moses' eye. Life is chance. Roll a die. What is chance? To roll 6 5s. Those who whine will not dine. Valhalla's gates, if you die. What the fuck? Stephen, what are you doing here?
What do you mean, what am I doing here? You spoke the words of summoning.
What? Oh, my bad. The title of the poem is written in Vietnamese, and I must have read it wrong. I thought it meant to mint, but that doesn't explain why you're here.
Yeah, I'm going past Summy's house. I thought you summoned me because you needed a lift. You should come. It's always a good hangout. There's going to be music, some P-Di Alpha. Oh, and Sommy said something about going through receipts, so he might need a hand with his taxes. Did you still need Richard and I to help with your taxes?
What do you name help with my taxes?
You said you wanted to sort out your receipts.
That's right. Receipts.
He might need a hand with his taxes. I sound more Australian in that video. My accent sounds way like it's got that more Australian twang in there than my actual voice. I love it. So thank you very much, Pulse TVR. It was really a blessing and an honor to be on there and included on there now. So I'm part of the Pulse Chain PDI law, part of the Pulse TV law. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for the questions. Hopefully this clarified how to use a treasury system. And like I said, tomorrow, stay tuned. We're going to go into the infinite minting. And then the next day, we're going to go into how to create your own treasury spine. So a lot of this is experimental. A lot of this is really just learning on the fly. We're all trying to learn. We're all trying to grow together. And again, I really want to just encourage people. Everyone keeps asking. And I mean, look, it's good to want profit. That's why we're in crypto, right? But I think really something about the Atropa ecosystem is we need to really try to expand our mind into the consciousness of giving, into the consciousness of winning together. And so I really want to continue to nurture that spirit, nurture that heart within the Atropa ecosystem and within the community, that we can have that kind of mindset. Yes, we take our profits, but let's also think longer term, not just what can I take out of the ecosystem by the end of this bull run. And I think if we continue to nurture and grow that kind of mindset, then everything is just going to go so well with this ecosystem and with this community. So with that, thank you very much, everybody. Take care.